Yeah, you can't teach what you don't know. And I mean, just recently we've had conversations with mega agents, 8, 10, $12 million in sales per year, that reach out and say, I know how to sell real estate. I don't know how to invest. And no one else at my company is investing. They're just on this treadmill and they keep working. And I don't want to live like that. I want to graduate to the next level. And they're actively reaching out and saying, I know all the momentum agents are buying rentals and investing and figuring out, what's the next step for them. And real estate is a stepping stone. Can I come over? Oh, go ahead, Britt. Yeah.
I was going to add to that of, hey, I'm selling all this real estate. I want to invest. The other side of it is, hey, I'm selling all this real estate. I'm not making a lot of money. What's going on? Right. So like looking at the business model of like, are you actually running a successful business? What is your definition of success? And then is anybody saying, well, what does your P&L look like? Are you efficient? Like, are you actually making money, but you're running around like a chicken with your head cut off, but do you actually have a business?
Yeah. So most brokers
then have money to invest.
Right. And most brokerages don't care if you make money at all, because they make all their money on the fat splits that they take from you up front. So they get you to $2 to $3 million of production. They take their chunk of it and they could care less what you do for the rest of your year in terms of production. So they have no reason to reinvest in you to continue to grow, or they don't know how to invest themselves because they've never made money themselves. They've never been a mega agent. They've never actually climbed the ladder. They are a salaried employee that was hired to be a leader of an organization that has recruiting numbers, which incentivizes them to take absolutely any human being with a license and a pulse into the organization. And that destroys the culture. And we get calls from brokerages that are falling apart, just saying like, I need to get out of here. And we have these conversations with them. And the one conversation I even just had today said, I've been at this company for 9 years. I never sat down and looked at my financials. And oh my gosh, they took over 40% of all of my money for 9 years. And he did the math. He's like, if I had invested that, and it just got stupid. And I'm just going to put this out here. I know that this conversation is controversial and taboo. We know, we get it. We don't like talking about our money, but I can tell you this, our mission is to help agents find financial peace through real estate. And we cannot get there unless we have these hard conversations. And you don't need to agree with everything, but this data is good. And we've proven it with our experience in the past. So take what you may, and we look to create a conversation with you.
What you're bringing home is such a small percentage that no matter what a great agent you might be, and you may be coming from the best place of giving for your customers, there is a level of desperation when it comes down to your financial situation. In real estate, nothing is guaranteed. And when you're in that $0 to $2 million bucket, and I'm saying this for myself from when I was hitting my first 2 million, you can't afford for things to go wrong. And so that's when emotions come into play. And we know to be able to be a problem solver and stay proactive throughout the transaction and getting to the closing, we've got to take our emotions out of it, because there's enough emotions for the buyer and the seller. They are the ones who matter. But if I'm not sure if I can pay my mortgage, if this doesn't close, you're going to see a very different version of me than the one who knows, hey, we're good. I've actually hit my goal for the year, and I'm doing this because I love it and I love my people and I want to pour into them. So it's just a scary place to be. That's from the financial side of things.
Am I really making a clear decision that is completely not based in my own personal needs? Is it 100% focused on the customer? And you get in with the intention of it being that way, but are you having mind tricks played on you? Are you really doing 100% true intentions?
Yeah, it's commission breath. And we see it everywhere, and they're just like, I just need to close the deal, or they get it under contract and then they totally disappear and leave the customer, hanging. We've seen that happen, unfortunately, too widespread, which is scary. So here's the thing about this production bucket. So this is from research that I did a year ago, and the data comes from a source called Broker Metrics. This data is just aggregated by this company that has all the data on real estate agents and their production. It's not perfect. So I just want to hedge that here. There's data, you know, not all the new sales get to go into this, everything. It's not absolutely perfect, but it gives us a clue of what's going on in the market. Here's this bucket, the $0 to $2 million producer. That is 69% of all real estate agents in Northeast Florida. Almost 70%
Wow.
of all real estate agents produce less than $2 million, which I don't know about you, even at 3% commission splits, which most aren't, there's no way you can possibly live on that after you consider the broker splits, the licensing costs, the taxes, the self-employment taxes that you have to pay, health insurance for yourself. In your case, you had to pay for, you know, what was it? Daycare. And things like that, other costs that you didn't think about. It's absolutely, you cannot make money in this bucket, but 70% of the agents are there. Now, here's what's interesting. 48% of those agents produce zero.
Wow.
Zero. So they're hanging their licenses and paying fees, but they actually don't do anything, which is really, really interesting.
We know that when we talk about like capping in the brokerages, when you're hitting 4 million by the end of the year is probably the most frustrating place to be as an agent, because you are likely full-time. You've now just paid your full cap, and guess what? It is December 15th. So you've got 15 whole days to enjoy that paid off cap. And now we're going to start it all over again. Who's ready? And you know, again, I was there, and not all that long ago. So, and I was at a big box brokerage, and I was on a team, and I remember I capped in 6 months, and I was like, woohoo. And then I'm like, but wait, like, what did I just do? So, yeah, I'm gonna say I don't think it's getting easy yet. I think we are in the grind, and that lead generation is happening nonstop to just keep yourself in that bucket. How do we get out of that bucket? That's what I think everyone really would want to know.
I was also on a team. The stage is set a little bit differently.
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you're an agent out there at a big box or some other company doing $4 million in sales, you have everyone patting you on the back, your brokers high-fiving you. And why wouldn't they? They just made their cap on you. Their caps are $2 to $2.3 million. They made the most money out of you that they can make in 1 year. Congratulations. Here's a hat. Here's this. Here's that, right? Super exciting times that you're
in the cappers club.
But you feel weird on the inside because you're looking at your bank account and there's not a lot of money in there. So it's like, yeah, it looks good on Facebook and I got this cool hat and I have this trophy, but I look in my bank account and I'm still actually pretty broke. Because if we break it down, and I have a breakdown and I'll share this, like if you're selling $4 million in sales and we're assuming a 3% commission, when it's all said and done, you're still broke. Look to become an investor in what you're becoming really knowledgeable about and get to the next level. That should be the conversation and an encouragement to start looking at things as an investor mindset. I mean, I just had an agent the other day that brought a list that had a listing. They wanted to sell it fast cash, and he was able to do it because he was like, I never would have thought this way before if I wasn't at momentum. And that purchase is going to be life-changing for him. And the seller got what they wanted because they got the cash that they wanted for the property. So the question is like, are you going to learn from your leadership on how to buy multiple investment properties? So like questions to ask them would be like, what's your net worth? How many properties do you own? What was your highest level of production? What's your financial plan? What are you looking to accomplish into the future?
And there'd be times like your phone wouldn't stop. And every time your phone went off, it was somebody inquiring about real estate. It was just unbelievable. And that comes from that being you had been in the business for a couple of years. So now things were starting to come to you because of great systems and models. But it was definitely very interesting for me to be in my first weeks of real estate, sitting with you guys that were at this point and this level. And it's like, man, I want that. But like, do I want that? So I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, it is an absolute struggle because you are having to do the production and build the systems at the same time. So it requires you to, if you want to get out of that struggle and get to the next level, you got to wake up early and stay up late working on your systems after the day is done, or wake up early and stay up late finding the talent. So instead of lead generating for buyers and sellers, you're now lead generating for talent who can help you achieve the tasks that you need to get done during the day while representing the same exact standards or higher than what you're already giving your customers, because that's what they expect of you. And my realization in this cohort, I went to 12 million my first year, 20 million my second year, and then Brittany came in and we did 36 million in our third year. This cohort was really where you just have to dig in and build systems and document absolutely everything. I did this myself. I could have had somebody else do all that for me. And then I hand that documentation off to somebody else that I'm taking a bet on. And if you don't know how to hire somebody or how to hold them accountable, then your chances of failure are really high. So I see a lot of people, they go through this phase and they say, I hired somebody, it didn't work, I'm giving up. I hired somebody, I'm just going to go be the $12 million agent. I'm just going to do 12 million. And they don't break through and they get stuck and they make great money. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's really nothing, if that's where you want to hang out and that's where you're comfortable with. But for some agents, they push through and they build system and models that allow them to make money without doing every little task in the transaction. When you're looking at a company, one question to look for is like, what's the rotation of people leaving the organization? That would be a really good question when you're interviewing around. But this cohort, they're looking for more. They're looking for, how do I invest my money? How do I leverage out of all the things I don't want to do? How do I get additional opportunities or buy into my brokerage or ancillary opportunities? And right now that really doesn't exist. It didn't exist at the companies that I was working for. So there's no next level. And when you have no next level and you have nothing to look forward to, things get scary, especially for high achievers, because this cohort's a high achiever. So when they can't see the future, they start looking elsewhere. And you want to align yourself with a company that will continue to show you the path. They've realized very quickly that they can't make money within that financial model, and they want to figure out how to do it on their own. And they come to momentum and they figure it out. And so far, it's 100% success rate. Michelle, you're the person to talk to about this, because this was you. And this was actually why we started Momentum in the first place, is because of you coming to us. And what did you tell us?
I was like, how do I have some of the most closings of anyone in the office that we were at currently, yet I'm literally making no money. Like, I'm breaking even here. This makes absolutely no sense. What's going on, John? You're the numbers guy. Like, what's happening? And, so yeah, I can definitely speak to this. And I think that there's a couple of things that are happening. So first of all, you have those agents that are doing really, really well on a team because they're being fed leads and they know how to service them. They can do that all day long, but the splits just aren't there for them to make any money. They are also not learning how to lead generate on their own. That's not normally the case. Most people who come to us and they want to join a team, it's because they want to start with a ton of momentum. And I was able to do that with starting with the Brooks group. And what was beautiful about it is when we made the transition to it being momentum, and I was a single agent at that point, I had already built my business to where more than 50% of my business was coming from self-generated leads. And it was a no-brainer. I was able to do half the work and make the same, if not more money. But I don't think most people are putting the time and effort into lead generating because they're so busy answering the phone and making sure they don't miss a lead. They literally don't even have time to think about it.
I agree. And I think the biggest thing is that the team leaders or the owners of the team own everything. They own the marketing, they own the brand, they own the database, they own the contact information, right? So if you're an agent on a team and you're building business and you're kind of making a couple grand here, a couple grand there off of each sale,